Hey my glam girls, welcome back to my channel. It's Chelsea, where we talk about all things glam and all things girly. So today we are talking about blushes because so many blushes have come out this year. It's pretty insane. So many cream blushes have come out this year. And so I ideally want to rank all of my cream blushes in this video, and then I'll do the powder blushes in another one, just so that it's not too long. And we're gonna be talking about cream blushes. I am ranking the ones I actually like and use because there's a lot others that came out that I don't use. So I'm not putting them in here because if I'm not using it, then I'm not gonna recommend it to you. So all of these ones that I'm talking about, I do use, but we are ranking them, and I'm gonna tell you why I like them and why I think the number ones are the number ones, or the ones at the top are the ones at the top. So stay tuned for all of that. Like I said, I will be doing the same for the powder blushes, so stay tuned for that video. But before we get into this video, I just wanna say thank you so much for spending some time with me today. I truly do appreciate it. And if you're not subscribed to the GlamGirlChelsea squad, help me get to 20,000 subscribers. I'm not so far, but I'm also not so close, so I need your help in getting there. I truly do appreciate any help that you could provide me in getting me to that number. It's just a personal little goal of mine that I would like to achieve by the end of this year. So with all of that said, let's get right into this video. So I'm gonna work my way, I'm gonna rank it backwards. We're gonna start with number one. Let's start out with the one that I have used non-stop since it came out. It's the one I recommend for all skin types, any weather conditions, and here we go. Blurring Balm Powder Flush by Danessa Myricks. So this product is amazing. If you've tried the viral Blurring Balm Powder, then you already know that it's formulated with Upsolite. It's going to help to control the oils, reduce texture on the skin. It's also going to leave a really beautiful flush to the skin, which is why they're called Blurring Balm Powder Flush. Or, as you know, with anything that Danessa makes, the pigmentation is there. So you can either literally like tap finger, this is the shade Jubilee. I can tap the product with my finger and just get like the hints of color, or I can go full ham and like get a very nice pigment of color. So depending on how you like to wear your blushes, either just barely there on the cheek, or like me, I like to see it and feel it. I want to see my blush. You can get that pigmentation that you do desire. It does come in 6 shades. I've done a full review of all of them, and all 6 shades are phenomenal. It is a product where I'm like, I personally recommend you get all the shades. But if you're not gonna get all the shades, because you know everybody's not like that, my most used shades of all, number one is going to be Rosé and Brunch. I can't tell you the amount of times I've worn this one. This is like the most perfect neutral shade. Goes with any look that I could ever imagine, and it's just that blush that I reach for when I'm like, I don't know what blush to put on. This is the one that I go to. And then the other 2 shades that I use simultaneously, so there is no third, it's just first and second, would be Golden Hour and Bellini. Both of these shades are like match made in heaven. So this is Golden Hour, this is Bellini. I mean, can't you see them both on the cheeks just looking scrumptious? Absolutely adore all of them though. Like, all of the shades are beautiful, highly recommend them. And like I said, whether you have oily skin, dry skin, textured skin, especially if you're someone who's like, I don't wear blush because it enhances my texture, this product was definitely made for you, and you can wear these blushes. So that's why they're coming in at number one. Okay, number 2 would have to go to North Face's Skin Glass. And just as an FYI, I'm only talking about the blushes that came out this year, or blushes that I actually picked up this year, because there are some like tried and true blushes that are just phenomenal that I highly recommend to you, like the LYS Beauty Cream blushes. OMG, amazing. But I just wanted to focus on the ones that came out this year. So not saying that those other ones aren't great, we're just focusing on the ones this year. North Face Skin Glass blushes. You need them. So I have the shade Sweet. This is the shade Sweet. Spicy, and I've already created content for these, so that's why I'm kind of flying through them. And then this is the shade Flesh. Okay, so the shade that I've worn the most would have to be Spicy. I mean, oh, once again, just that beautiful, like, I don't know what blush to wear, but it just complements the cheeks so well. This is a cream formula, but what I love about this cream formula is that it's got a little bit of oomph to it, in the sense of it's not gonna slide across your face. You don't have to set it with powder. Same things with these Blurring Balm Flesh ones. Don't have to set it with powder. Lasts on the skin all day long. I don't think I said this either, but this one lasts phenomenally. And the pigmentation is there. Once again, you can like add a little flush, or you can go full on pigmentation, and this product lasts. It's a beautiful, beautiful creamy formula. I love the packaging as well, just so small and concise. So great for travel, but also great for storage. Doesn't take up a lot of space in your drawers or wherever you might keep your blushes. I think they came out with 6 shades as well, and I have these 3. I did request these from the brand, but the other shades that they do have, I'm like, I think I want to pick them up too. But the formula is amazing. And in terms of pigmentation, pigmentation is there. So another astounding product that's going to work for a plethora of complexions out there and last. Like, you're not going anywhere. Even though the formula is nice and creamy, it's not one of those like oily, slippery formulas. So it's going to last under the heat, under whatever conditions you put it under, and it's beautiful. Okay, coming in at number 3, I have to give it up to Rare Beauty. These liquid blushes are beautiful. So the 2 newest shades are going to be Virtue and Worth. Like I said, have created content on these. These are phenomenal because they just last forever. And the pigmentation is so intense, like you literally need a speckle of this particular product on the cheek or blend it on the back of your hand, and it just looks so beautiful. I love these tones of these liquid blushes, and I think they are phenomenal. So even though the Rare Beauty liquid blushes are nothing new, those 2 shades are new for this year, and I really enjoy them. And so if you're someone who you find that your skin just eats up blush and soaks it up, give these blushes a try. I would also say for the first 2 ones that I recommended, because they're going to last on your skin, whether you've got oily skin, drier skin, or what have you, it's going to last. So coming in at number 3, the Rare Beauty one. Okay, this one, this is where it gets a little hard, but coming in at number 4, I gotta give it to Mother Pat McGrath. So my favorite shade that I've worn the most has been Divine Rose, and these are going to be a balm. Like, in the description, Mother said, we gonna give you a flush of color. We don't want nothing more than a flush. So Divine Rose is the shade that I have worn the most, and that is exactly what this does on the cheek. So this is going to be that dewy, balmy formula that I would not recommend swiping directly onto the cheek. The best way that I apply this product, especially to get the most pigment out of it, because the pigment is going to be naturally just more sheer, is I love to either swipe my brush on the balm stick and then apply it to the cheek in a nice stippling tapping motion, or I'll just take the product, rub it on the back of my hand, and then rub my brush in it to get the product dispersed on the hairs, and then once again diffusing it onto the cheeks. With these types of products, you can also wear them on the lips, and they look beautiful on the lips, and they're also very hydrating on the lips as well. Like, my lips feel really nice and like comforted and moisturized. The Balm Powder Flushes you can also use on your lips as well. That's how they are marketed. And this looks great. So with this product, where I feel makes the differentiation between who might like it and who may not like it, is if you don't like a dewy balm formula, you're not going to enjoy this product the most, because that's what this formula is. Also, if you're someone who likes your blush to show, you don't want just a flush of blush on the cheeks, this may not be your cup of tea. But where I've been enjoying this product, because I am that person that likes my blush to show, and I typically don't like tinted blushes because I like pigmentation. This works well for me when I'm going for like a work look where I just want a nice flush on the cheeks. Or what I will do is I will put this on first to give me that glossy, dewy, like supple look to the cheeks. And then I might go around the apples of my cheeks with like a powder blush to give a little bit more intensity there, then blend it, like flush it over the balm blush. Because I don't want to take away the dewiness of the product, but I also want to make sure that you do see a little bit more pop from it. And I find that I enjoy it well that way. Or sometimes what I'll do is another way to kind of get a little bit more intensity out of this product, set your face with your powder and then apply this on top. So you almost get a twofer because you get a little balmy highlight from the glossiness of the product, but because the balm has something to adhere to, then you get a bit more intensity from the actual pigmentation itself. And once again, don't directly swipe because you are gonna lift up the product whatever product you have underneath. And I've even found like trying to tap doesn't really work as well. My favorite and where I get the most pigmentation is taking my brush, swiping it that way, and then stippling it onto the cheek, and it's gorgeous, really gorgeous. Really happy to have it. I think Pat did a phenomenal job creating these balm blushes because the way that she described them to be, I really believe that they work on the skin just that way. In terms of longevity onto the skin, I would say that these give me a nice, good, maybe 6 to 8 hours of wear before I feel the product kind of melts into the skin. But for the formula, it does last pretty well, especially when I powder my skin first and then apply this on top. Coming in at number 5. I got 6 too. I wish I could have had a strong 5, but we got a strong 6. So how about that? The Saie, these are what they call their highlighter, like their blush highlighters, if you will. These are gorgeous. So you're going to get more pigmentation, a little bit more pigmentation from this formula than I would say the Pat McGrath Balm formula. And like I said, this is more like a blush highlighter. So for instance, this shade here, Peach Glow, which is probably my favorite one, this looks more like a blush, like a blusher on the cheek for me. But if I were to go for shade like this one, Pink Glow, this looks definitely like a highlighter, a cream highlighter on the skin. So the reels that I created for this one, I'm wearing all 5 shades on the cheek, and I think they look beautiful. The formula is going to be a little, just a little tacky, but what's great about that is it does last on the skin. So this is not gonna be one of those cream products that's just gonna kind of fade away into the skin. The way that I recommended that you apply the Pat McGrath Balm Sticks, I highly recommend that you apply these Saie products as well. So taking the product, taking your brush directly into the product and then maybe tap it on the back of your hand to make sure the hairs are diffused with it, then apply it to the cheek in stippling motions. And you get the most pigmentation, but also you don't disturb your product underneath it, and it looks phenomenal. The highlighter effect of it is not too intense. It's actually quite subtle, like a lot more subtle than I thought. Because for instance, the shade Bronze Glow, when I looked at it, I was like, oh, I don't know if I'm gonna be able to use this. It looks like it might be too deep. But it's actually not as deep as I thought it was gonna be. So here is Bronze Glow swatched on the back of my hand, or my finger I should say, and then blending it out into the skin. It blends really nicely into the skin. So for me, especially when I applied it to my face, I just use this as like a bronzer, like a nice little bronze to the skin, and it looks really, really beautiful. So I like this product for like those no makeup days when I want a little something but not too much. Or like I said, if I do want a more like a kind of a twofer, like I don't really have a lot of time to do blush and highlight it, I want to just do kind of both in one step, this is where I would use this product. And because of the formulation, I would recommend it for oily skin and dry skin, because even though it's a little more like a little more tacky in nature, it kind of dries down to a nice soft powdery feel. So it's not gonna budge, it's not gonna move, and it's not going to I feel melt under oily skin, but I don't think it's also going to crumble on top of drier skin. So I think it's one of those really beautiful products. Coming in at number 5, just because the other products above it are just like some of my absolute favorites, but a really beautiful product nonetheless. And then lastly, we have the Makeup by Mario. These are their Soft Pop Plumping Blush Veils. So the 2 shades that I love the most are going to be Rose Crush and then just Peachy. So I did a review on all of them, and I will, like I said, try to make sure that I insert some footage so you can see it. This is going to be the product that I feel is very similar to Pat McGrath's Balm formula. Once again, Makeup by Mario said, I just want to give you a flush of color, right? Just a flush of it. So this is going to be a product that provides a flush, a veil of coverage onto the cheeks. Looks really beautiful. It has kind of a similar formula to the Saie Beauty blush highlighters. So it's going to be a little more dewy, but blends really nicely into the skin. So this is the shade Rose Crush, which is my absolute favorite shade of all of them. And it's going to have, like I said, just a nice little tint. Now this tint, I would say, lasts a little bit longer than Pat's Balm blushes, because Pat's Balm blushes are gonna be a little bit more dewy than Makeup by Mario's. I am putting this one last just for me, okay? Because I use this the least out of the ones that I've mentioned before. And it's nothing wrong with it, it's just in terms of preference. this is the product that I use the least. So that's why it's coming in at last, but definitely not coming in last because I don't like it. I wouldn't recommend it. It's not good. It's just based out of usage. I think this one, similar to Pat, like you don't need all 6 shades. Pick 1 or 2 shades that you think you might like and wear a lot and go with that, because I did find that with the Makeup by Mario ones, especially the tones that were a little more light, were like barely showing against my skin. So I was like, you know I'm not gonna wear it. So it wasn't one that I needed if I'm just buying them for myself and not just as a creator. But really enjoy this formula. This formula is very similar, basically the same as his Soft Sculpt formula. And I wore this product out last summer. So if you enjoyed this formula, then you're going to really enjoy the formula of the blush because they're basically the same. If you did not like the formula of this product, then you're not gonna like the formula of the blushes because they're essentially the same. And guys, that is it. Like I said, if I did not talk about another blush that came out this year, it's just because I hardly reach for it, and I'm not gonna recommend a product to you guys that I really don't use. It's not saying that the product is bad. It's just like, hey, out of all the time that I've had these products, these are the ones that I continue to use. So these are the ones that I'm recommending that you give a shot because I don't think you'll be disappointed. And there we go. So let me know your top 2 favorite cream blush formula that you've been trying, that you are just head over heels in love with. Now for you, it doesn't have to be ones that came out this year, but just the ones that you just keep reaching over and over and over and over again with. I wanna know what you've been loving in terms of cream blush formula. And if you made it to this point in the video and you have yet to subscribe to my channel, I would love for you to consider subscribing and joining the Glam Girl Squad because we'd love to have you. And guys, that is it. Thank you so much for watching, and I really hope to see you in my very next video. Bye, guys.